Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and I was wondering why the ball was getting bigger. Then it hit me. Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called Grandemprise Time Travel Survival, developed and published by, TBJBU2? Okay. Released not in early access and selling for $20 American. So, basically, the gist of this game is you travel through time and all the different age periods, utilizing all the different tech of each age to accomplish your objectives, and going back and forth throughout these ages, you collect materials unique to each era and use them in combination to better yourself and your goals. The game has absolutely zero story to it other than what's on the Steam store page, so I have nothing to say about it other than that, which is, I guess, you're trying to become a god while using time travel or something. So, yeah, that's all I got. Anyway, let's go into the good and the bad, followed by my final thoughts, alright? Okay, so up first for the positives is the tutorial. I know, right? How odd is that? But the tutorial isn't really a tutorial. The game gives you objectives to accomplish and even tells you how. And these objectives are basically the closest thing to a main story you're going to get. They're the goals of each level, basically. And it starts you off with simple stuff to help you learn the gameplay. It's a weird amalgamation of main objective story stuff and a tutorial, and it works really well. Within my first hour, I knew exactly how to play the game. At least in the basic stuff, and the rest is basically just connecting the dots from what you learned earlier, and not to mention the game keeps doing this for the rest of your playthrough, so you'll never be lost or confused. It was a really good idea, and it was done really well. Next up is the gameplay. It's your typical survival game, so it has all the things you'd expect, but because the game is being done in such a unique way, you gotta ask yourself, how does survival come into play with a game like this? Well, that's simple. You still have a food meter, a health meter, backpack weight meter, and stamina meter, and you gotta keep them balanced. But you also still need to build a base for respawning or teleporting to in case you find yourself on the other end of the map. You know, you're going to need materials that you've got to manually collect so that you can craft bigger and better stuff with absolutely no limits. I mean, you want to build a mech? Well, in time, you will. You want to build a big battleship? Well, in time, you will. So make sure you gather as much as you can and keep going. Now, the gameplay isn't perfect. The combat is kind of awful. Half the time when I'm attacking things, they just kind of leap into the air above you while you're fighting them. Sorry, I don't have any footage of that. The building stuff has this weird zoom-in thing at random points when you're trying to place them, and even though I've built a metal spear, when I'm using it against foxes or bears, it barely makes a difference from the stone spear. But overall, in terms of the gist of the gameplay, it's pretty rock solid. It's simple, easy to understand, it works well, it's pretty fast, and makes sense, and requires just the right amount of micromanaging and effort needed for it to be intuitive and still fun, but not overly complicated. The next positive I have is the idea and how it is implemented here. I mean, at first I was thinking, how on earth are they going to make this idea work? There's no way it's going to work well. Well, it's actually fairly simple. You have a device that can teleport you to a specific time frame that you want. And when you get there, it's got its own map and creatures and everything. As you complete objectives and progress with technology, you unlock newer time periods to go through. Each era requires certain specific ingredients to upgrade your time travel device, which will then let you go to the next era, but once you get there, you're free to go back to any of the previously unlocked eras, so it's almost like unlocking maps that have different enemies. With limited creature designs and map designs, it works well enough that I feel they may have found a good frickin' balance here with this whole time traveling thing. One minute you're riding a dinosaur hunting other dinosaurs, and the next minute you're fighting cavemen for that pinch of salt you needed to make leather. Although they do kind of make you feel like a psychopath since you basically just go through each era killing everything you run across. Overall, I was very skeptical of how they were going to make this idea work, but it does, and I'm happy to confirm it. The last positive I have here is the price tag. Considering the intuitive, unique idea, how it's all slapped together, the different things that are just added here, and the way it's done overall, and I think that price tag is pretty awesome. I mean, $20 for all this? I mean, that's pretty amazing. Once you start playing it and see it for yourself how intuitive and in-depth it is, despite its low price tag and everything that's included here, even you guys out there are going to be thinking, holy crap, what a great deal. Alright, so that's all the positives I have for the game. Now on to the negatives, but first I need your help. My channel only grows if I get more views. That's the biggest thing I need more than anything, really. It's views. More views means YouTube pushes my video out further, allowing me to get more noticed, which will help me with everything else. So please share my videos, spread the word of my channel, because the more noticed I get, the overall more successful my channel will become. Also, have you heard of my same-day reviews? It's pretty cool. You want me to review a game and post a video of it? Then leave your request on any comment board in my channel, and I'll buy the game, play it, review it, and post a video that same day. Unless I already put out a video that day, in which case it'll come out the next day. Cool, right? Alright, enough of the self-promotion. Now on to the negatives. So up first is the graphics. They're, well, when you've got the graphics on medium, they're okay, I guess. What you've been watching it so far on has been medium. Not awful, but not great. The problem here, and I'm sorry about this, but the game just doesn't work at this point. I mean, do you see how the screen has just been the video you've been watching has been glitchy and laggy and whatnot, yeah, that's what the graphics on medium, and look what happens when I put the graphics on low. Ta-da! Look at how awful this looks! But it's the only way to get the game to play smoothly without any stability issues. And speaking of stability issues, that's the next negative I have. The game hasn't crashed on me yet, or frozen for longer than 5 seconds, but I was constantly met with other types of freezing. Frequently. They were small and short, but still, it happened. I was also met with frame rate drops and lag spikes, even though it's not an online game. So the game is super buggy right now and needs a few updates to fix that. Now I've got a pretty good PC and my computer should be able to play this game on its highest graphics without problems, so it's got to be something with the game design. So unless you're prepared to play it like this the whole time, move along, because until they update it, this is what you're going to be looking at while you play it. Next up for the negatives is the sound design. It's pretty much just awful all the way around. Half the time there's no audio at all for animals and monsters and dinosaurs, and when they do pop up, it's just bland and badly designed. The music is fairly bland and forgettable as well, and overall just the sound design here on all aspects was just below average and nasty to listen to. I did not enjoy listening to anything in this game. That's not true. When I was banging on an anvil to make an iron tool, that sounded okay, I guess. The final bad thing I have to say about this game is just some of its gameplay. The combat is awful. It's basically just you backing up while you swing randomly at enemies. The hunting is awful. Combat with other sentient beings is awful. It's, again, just backing up and swinging. There's no blocking. There's no throwing spears. Nothing like that. And it's just boring and buggy. I mean, considering the potential idea of this game, I knew it had to be lacking in some spots, but considering one of the main objectives in this game is basically to kill everything, you'd think it'd have a better combat mechanic, or at least a smoother combat mechanic, and not so glitchy and buggy. For the crafting and survival aspects, the game is pretty decent, but when it comes to anything else, it's definitely not optimized. Okay, so that's all I got for the good and the bad. My overall thoughts? Well, here's the thing. Despite its several problems, I was still having fun with the game. And despite how it looks, that didn't really bother me so much because I was just enjoying what I was doing. Its survival stuff is there and done pretty well. The idea is incredibly interesting and well implemented. And despite its flaws, the idea of time travel and how it's executed here still works really well. I can't wait to get a laser gun and then go back and shoot the T-Rex that kept eating me over and over again. Sweet, sweet revenge will be mine. So, yeah, I guess I recommend this game. Although I'd probably wait for an update or two for them to iron out the kinks, maybe make it a little smoother, a little more stable, get rid of those bugs and whatnot. But after they do that, I think everyone should try this game. I mean, you start off throwing rocks at dinosaurs and you will end up battling in giant mechanoid battlesuits with all your hard work and time. And holy crap, I just thought, what if I could get in a mech suit and then come back in time and wrestle with a Tyrannosaurus Rex? That would be so freaking cool. But anyway, it's a really cool idea that was done fairly well with just a few issues here and there. So give it some time for some updates and then check it out. It's actually kind of cool. Alright, so that's all the time I got for this video, everybody. Thanks so much for deciding to check it out. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.